So we're creating the videos for the examples for 13 through 24 on the Aspire Exemplar Items. And so on this one, we have three scatter plots, and they're wanting to know which one has the line of data that fits the best. Okay, and pretty simple. This one, obviously, it fits really close. All the dots are very close to it. This one, the line of best fit, I drew my own in there, sorry. That's the way it should look, so it's not this one. And this one, all the points are above the line. A good line of best fit has half the points above and half the points below. So the answer for number 13 should be one only. Okay, on 14. Yeah, I remember making this video. I wonder what happened to it. So on 14, so we have the cone and we have two cylinders. We know that the volume of a cone is 1/3 base times height, and the volume of a cylinder is base times height. So that means 15 equals 1/3 base times height, where the base is the circles. The height is the distance perpendicular from the base or the circle to the top or the apex of this cone. And so we're solving now for, we want BH to figure out one of the cylinders. So I multiply both sides times 3, I get 45 equals the base times height. Well, this is the volume of a cylinder. They want two cylinders. Double 45 and you get 90. Okay, 15, we have 15 dancers participating in a competition. Each point of the scatter line represents the average weekly number of hours practiced and the number of wins in the competition for these dancers, for one of the dancers, sorry. And the question asks, of the following, one of the following describes the association between the average weekly number of hours and the number of wins. It is a positive correlation that is increasing as you go. The more hours practiced, the larger number of wins. This would be linear. This is definitely nonlinear. So this is positive, one nonlinear, and at least one outlier, probably this one. Okay, this is a curve. It's not a line. And don't ever use the phrase straight line. You're being redundant. So this curve is positive. It's nonlinear, and there's at least one outlier. On 16. It says the distance from the Earth to the Moon is 2.39 times 10 to the 5th miles. To the nearest hour, how long would it take the space shuttle traveling 18,000 miles an hour to make a round trip, means there and back, from Earth to Moon and back? So if we look at this, 239, that's scientific notation changed to standard notation, times 2, because we're going there and back from the Earth to the Moon, divided by the speed. So 2 times 239, I just dropped the zeros, divided by 18 is 26.555 hours, or B, 27 hours. Okay, so we have histograms here shown with the two data sets. Each data set has a total of 15. So what we need to notice about these histograms is that it has intervals. There's not exact numbers. There are not exact numbers here. So knowing that, where this bin, these are called bins, not bars, it's a histogram. Bar graphs, there's separation. That means 15, 16, and 17 is contained in here. There's two of them, but we don't know what any of those numbers are. We just know they're somewhere between, they're either 15, 16, or 17, or somewhere in between. Could be a decimal, we don't know. So knowing that, and that's with both of these, find each that is an integer, which of the following must be true. The mean of the data set, okay, you can't find the mean of this, you can't find the median of this exactly because they're all intervals. We don't know what they are. So you can't find the mean, you can't find the median, you can't find the range. Some of you would say, oh, it's from 15 to 29. No, it's not. Both of these could be 27s. We don't know. These are in intervals. Both of them could be 28. We don't know. So you can't find any exact value, but we can compare the interquartile range of A, interquartile being the distance when you make a box plot from the third and first quartile. The interquartile range of A is greater than the interquartile range of data set B. This is the only one that we could find because we eliminated the other four. Okay, then on number 18, for all real values of x, which of the following is equivalent to the square root of 36 to the 4x? Okay, well, I changed 36, which is a perfect square, to 6 squared. That makes 6 squared times, and the 2 is times the 4x, which makes 8x. Looks like this underneath the radical. So then we find half of the square root of all of that. Our base stays the same. We find half of 8x, and we get 4x, which is D. So that is answer D. Okay. Oops, wrong side. Here we go. 19. Let's see. We've got all that scale. That's a 6 right there that we couldn't read. This distance is 1.2. This distance, a little short. The long distance here is 6. So it says we want to find, Molly painted the floors of the 2 rooms shown on the floor plan to the nearest 0.01. What in total area in square inches did she paint? Okay, so to find this, the family room is 6 times 6 times 7.2, plus this is 3.6 times 6 inches, and then this little room is 1.2 times 2.4. I know this is 2.4 because of the problem below. So I multiply and add all those together, and I get 67.68 square inches. On this one, it tells us that the ratio is 1 inch to 2.5 feet. 1 inch to 2.5 feet. So it wants us to put the exact number in feet for each of these boxes, and then they give us a bunch of boxes down here to choose from. So I multiply 6 times 2.5, I get 15, so I drag and drop the 15. 7.2 makes 18, this is 12, this number is 9, this is 6, and this is 3. I think it's humorous that all of them were multiples of 3. So I'll let you see those numbers that we would have dragged and dropped. And then down on this last one, it says, which of the following expressions is equivalent to the expression Molly used to determine the length in inches of materials that needed for humans, which was right here. It says that to determine the length in inches of materials she needed, she found expression 3.6 times 1.05. This. Well, which of these matched that? That's the last one, 3.6 times 1 plus 0.05. These are really easy questions. Okay, let's see. So we're talking about a map of Nelson County. Here's my cell tower. Here's Esteban's house. This is the center of the county. It says how much land to the nearest 10 square miles does the Signer range cover? It says the range goes out in 10 miles in all directions. That makes a circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. My radius is 10. That's 100 pi, which is approximately 310 square meters. Or excuse me, miles squared, 310 square miles. On the next one, it wants to know the distance between Esteban's house and the tower. So from here to here, so you can use the distance formula, or you can make a map like I did. This distance is 5, from 5 to 10. From 4 to -2 is 6. 5 squared plus 6 squared is the square root of 61. I used the Pythagorean theorem, the distance formula. They're both derivatives of the other. And then the last question. Okay, it says the tower's range from a point extends up in miles following the function, the square root of 59 minus a squared plus 10a minus b squared plus 8b. A jet flies up over Esteban's house, which is the point 10, -2. So we substitute in the values. 59 minus 10 squared plus 10 times a, which is a is 10, minus b squared. So that's 2 squared is 4, -2 squared is 4, plus 8 times b. Well, b again is a -2. That makes that a -16. So then we find the area of all that do all of our addition, subtraction, these cancel, and 59 minus 20 is 39, and it's the square root of 39. And that's those answers. That was simple.